Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 1218th regular meeting and public hearing of the Livonia City Planning Commission. I wish to inform all interested persons in our audience that for petitions on tonight's agenda, which involve a question of zoning, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation to City Council, and the City Council, after holding their own public hearing, will make the final determination as to whether a petition is approved or denied. The Planning Commission holds the only public hearing on requests for preliminary plats and or vacating petitions. The Commission's recommendation is forwarded to the City Council for the final determination as to whether the petition is accepted or rejected. If a petition requesting a waiver of use or a site plan is denied tonight, the petitioner will have 10 days in which to appeal the decision in writing to City Council. Resolutions adopted by the City Planning Commission will become effective 7 days after the date of adoption. Planning Commission and professional staff have reviewed each of these petitions upon their filing. The staff has furnished the Commission with both approving and denying resolutions, which the Commission may or may not use depending on the outcome of the proceedings tonight. If our Secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Bonjero.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Renaro is absent. Mr. Droz.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Is here.
Caremagno's here. Chairman Wilshaw.
Is here. Also with us tonight we have Mr. Jacob Uhazi from our planning staff, along with Stephanie Reese, also from our planning staff. They will assist us throughout the meeting and giving information about these petitions. And I believe just the petitioners are here with us tonight. So we're going to dive right into the miscellaneous section of our agenda, item number 1.
Petition 2024-07-08-04, submitted by Wine Palace, requesting approval of all plans required by sections 3.10 and 13.13 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended, in connection with a proposal to construct an addition to the existing retail building at 13971 and 13973 Middlebelt Road, located on the west side of Middlebelt Road between Schoolcraft and Linden Avenue in the southeast quarter of section 23.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Uhazi?
Okay, this site is 0.78 acres in size with 250 feet of frontage on Middlebelt Road and 135.60 feet deep. The property is currently zoned C1, local business. The properties to the north are also zoned C1, while parcels to the south and east across Middlebelt are zoned C2, or general business. Behind the property to the west is zoned N1 neighborhood district. The existing Wine Palace is a 1-story in height building measuring approximately 7,536 square feet. The parking is located to the north and east of the property. The proposed addition measures 2,456 square feet and would be built on the south side of the building. The addition would be utilized as a retail area, an office, a conference room, and enable additional front counter sales as shown on their floor plan. The new building would have a gross floor area of 9,992 square feet. Setbacks for the building for C1 district is 15 feet. The current building is 84 feet and 7 inches from Middlebelt, and the addition would align with the existing building. The ordinance allows 0-foot setbacks when C1 is adjacent to C2. The addition would have a 0-lot line with the Bob Evans property to the south. A 20-foot side rear setback is required when adjacent to residential residence. The existing building and addition would be 44 feet 9 inches from the rear lot line. The addition complies with all required yard setbacks. The exterior of the addition will match the building materials and design of the existing building. Awnings over the windows and gooseneck light fixtures also match the existing buildings. The 1-story addition's height would also match the existing building as well. And then parking is based off of one space per 150 square feet of floor area. The The expanded building require 53 parking spots, and the plan only identifies 37. The parking spaces also appear to be striped at 9 feet. The ordinance requires parking at 10 feet. When we did some examining of the parking and striping, we looked at 10 feet. If the parking was striped at 10 feet, we'd estimate 34 parking spaces would be available. Section 9.03 of the zoning ordinance allows council and the planning commission to modify parking requirements based on other informational sources. And the Institute of Transportation Engineers Parking Generation Manual, under this manual for liquor stores would require only 18 parking spaces. So it would comply with the ITE's parking generation manual. And that's all I have for staff notes, but I also have correspondence.
Okay, if you want to read that out to us.
In accordance with your request, the Treasurer's Office has reviewed the name and addresses connected with the above noted petition. At this time, there are taxes due on this property. However, they are not delinquent. Therefore, I do not have any objections to this proposal. Signed, Susan Nash, City Treasurer. I have reviewed the address connected with the above noted petition. There are no outstanding amounts receivable, general, or water and sewer. I have no objections to the proposal. Please contact me with any further questions. Signed, Connie Cupola, Chief Accountant. Pursuant to your request, the above referenced petition has been reviewed. 1, a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals would be required for the deficient yard setback, the front yard setback. This department has no further objections to the petition. I trust this provides the requested information. Signed, Jerome Hanna, Director of Inspection. I have reviewed the plans in connection with this petition. I have no objections to the proposal. Feel free to contact me should you have any questions. Signed, Paul Walters, Sergeant of the Traffic Bureau. This office has reviewed the site plan submitted in connection with a request to construct a commercial building on property located at the above referenced address. We have no objections to this proposal. Please ensure on formal plan submission that directional arrow is accurate on all pages. A further detailed review will take place when the division receives an official plan set. Signed, Brian Kukla, Fire Marshal. And finally, in accordance with your request, the Engineering Division has reviewed the above referenced petition. We have no objections to the proposed project at this time. The subject parcel is assigned the address 13971 Middlebelt Road. The legal description included with the submitted drawings appears to be correct and should be used should the project move forward. The existing parcel is currently served by public water main, sanitary sewer, and stormwater sewer. The submittal does not indicate any changes to the existing utility leads, so we do not believe there will be any additional impacts to the public utility with the proposal. Please be advised that the project will be required to conform to the latest version of Wayne County Stormwater Ordinance. Stormwater pretreatment and detention may be required for any additional impervious areas added to the site. A full review of the permitting requirements will be done when construction drawings are submitted to this department. Also, should any work be required within the Middlebelt right-of-way, the owner will need to obtain permits from the Wayne County Department of Public Service. Should you have any additional questions on this matter, please feel free to contact me. Signed, Dave Lear, Assistant City Attorney.
All right. I believe that's the extent of the correspondence. Is there any questions for our planning staff?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ventura.
Jacob, I'm a little puzzled. Could you go back over? I don't have a copy of a letter from Jerome Hanna in my package.
We just received that today.
Yeah, that was a late edition.
And he talks about a deficient
Yeah,
setback from the Middlebelt Road.
yeah, I believe the setbacks, I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to be honest, because,
Well, in our write-up, it says that we're 84 feet away
yeah, and I think the setback is what, 20?
and that we're allowed a zero.
That's the lot, that's to the south. So that's adjoining the property to the south.
What's the required setback?
I thought it was 15 feet.
So we have 84.
Yes, that's why I have not had a chance to review Jerome's letter.
All right.
I can look at it while
Yeah,
while you guys go
I'd
through
like
the.
that to be
yeah.
clarified, so that we don't have the petitioner go through a bunch of steps that are not necessary. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ventura. Any other questions for our planning staff?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Droz?
just a question on the use of different methodology for parking requirements. ITE's recommendation seems a little more appropriate based on the nature of this use. Is this a common source that the city uses for
Yes.
this?
yeah.
Okay.
I would say we do use that pretty regularly now,
Okay.
since the zoning update, or zoning ordinance update.
Great. And I think related to the setback, we mentioned there's I think a slight jog in the right of way that it looks like it's a pretty minor encroachment into that setback on the south corner of the building. It looks very minor. It's almost a function of the jog in the Middlebelt Road right of way. I think that might be what they're referring to.
That could be, I would say, just confirming that for C1, the setback is 15 feet from the main road. So I'll have to follow up with Jerome of what he's referring to.
All right, thank you. Did that answer all your questions, Mr. Droz?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Any other questions for our planning staff? If not, our petitioner is in the audience. Feel free to come forward. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
We're going to ask that you start with your name and address for our record.
Hi, my name is Robert Kerma. I'm with Guma Group and representing Wine Palace.
My name is Kelly Denna, and I own the Wine Palace with my brother, Cliff.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And what would you like to tell us about your proposal? You're going to be looking to add on to your building, correct?
Well, I so much appreciate letting me submit our plans. We've been in Wine Palace over 37 years, and if you know what's going on is a lot of changes in our business. Every day we get new items, 10 items, 10 items. Well, where do you put it? And I always tell these suppliers, I go, what do you do at 7-Eleven? I mean, you know, how do you put the, we don't. Well, to stay relevant in our line of business, there's new stores coming to Michigan that are much bigger. And they have a lot of variety, and we have to stay relevant. And we've been wanting to do this for a while. We had an issue with DTE, but we fixed it, and we're going to move 2 poles at our cost. And so this will make the store more convenient to move a cart around. It makes the aisles wider. We can bring new items. Also, we're going to bring some new features. For example, a potential chiller machine where if you have 5 doors of chilled wine, if you don't have that bottle of wine that we have 1,000 different kinds, but you want that one chilled, we'll put it into the chiller, 2 minutes, you're out of there, free of charge, you have chilled wine. It gives us an advantage toward, you know, some of these other stores like Myers and Costco, and that's a service that we offer. Considering the parking, which I appreciate, I want to let you know that we eliminated the deli, and the deli was a very, very profitable, very great business for us. But as time went on, all these restaurants that are approved on Middlebelt, the running joke in Livonia was the best restaurant in Livonia was the liquor store down the street because we had a great deli. But after 40 years, the demographic changed where all Chick-fil-A and Chipotle and Jersey Mike's and Chili's and all these restaurants came in. We noticed it wasn't our best department, and we started scaling it back down. So in our store, our customers are going to come in and out. You're not going to see a traffic jam. So the parking, I knew was an issue. Also, what I did, I eliminated, I was going to put it upstairs where I was going to have not a lounge area, an area where customers could come in and have private wine tastings and things like that. I eliminated that because I knew standing in here, the parking would not meet it because that's different. The customers would be lingering in the store. You'd have 20 or 30 cars in the parking lot besides your regular. So I eliminate that. But I would appreciate if you approve it because I don't think it would be an issue. Holiday times, it is an issue, but we have good arrangements with our neighbors at Bob Evans and the insurance company next door, and our employees park there. And I think it'll be a really big asset to the city of Livonia. It'll be very nice, and I welcome you guys to stop by when it's done, if you approve it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Denha. Let me see if there's any questions for you about your proposal. Is there any questions for our petitioner?
Chair?
Mr. Bonjero.
Just one question. What's your intention with the existing dumpster enclosure? Keeping it?
Keeping it, oh yeah. It's staying,
It needs some repairs.
oh, absolutely.
The gates are in bad shape, and the block looks like it needs to be tuck pointed.
Done.
Okay, I'd like to just address that.
You know, I think we never close it, and
Yeah,
the reason
they're
is.
wide open and they're falling off.
Yes, you know, and I tell you, I don't think, it's always open, so I think we have so many boxes that we break up, the garbage there is 3 days a week.
Yeah.
So I'll fix that immediately.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bonjero. Any other questions for our petitioner?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Caremagno.
Not so much a question, but a comment. All the questions that I had for you, Kelly, were how long had you been there? 37 years, and why did you need the extra space? And you spelled that out very well. So you took care of my questions in advance, so thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for our petitioner? If there's no other questions, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak for or against this item? I don't see anybody coming forward.
I was going to invite a lot of customers to say yes, but they said, Kelly, we'll save that for the city council if that need be.
That sounds good.
Thank you so much, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to the commission and see if there's a motion. A motion would be in order.
Chairman,
Mr. Ventura.
I'll offer an approving resolution that the request to construct an addition to the existing retail building at 13971 Middle Belt Road is hereby approved, subject to city council approval and the following conditions. The site plan identified as SP-100 dated June 17th, 2024, as amended, prepared by Gumma Group, is hereby approved and shall be adhered to. Number two, all parking spaces except the required handicap spaces shall be double striped at 10 feet wide by 20 feet long as required. Number three, the petitioner shall make an effort to save the trees along the south property line that are being displaced by the addition and replant them elsewhere on the site. Number four, the elevation plan identified as A-500 dated June 17th, 2024 is amended, prepared by the Gumma Group, is hereby approved and shall be adhered to. Number five, any new exterior light fixture shall not exceed 20 feet in height and shall be aimed and shielded so as to minimize stray light trespassing across property lines and glaring into adjacent roadways. Number six, that the three walls of the trash dumpster area shall be constructed out of building materials that shall complement the building. The enclosure gates shall be of solid panel steel construction or durable, long-lasting solid panel fiberglass. Number seven, that only conforming signage is approved with this petition, and any additional signage shall be separately submitted for review and approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Number eight, no unshielded LED light band or neon shall be permitted on this site, including the building or around the windows. Number nine, unless approved by the proper local authority, any type of exterior advertising, such as promotional flags, streamers, or sponsored vehicles designed to attract the attention of passing motorists shall be prohibited. Number 10, the specific plans referenced in this approving resolution shall be submitted to the inspection department at the time the building permits are applied for. And number 11, pursuant to section 13.13 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended, this approval is valid for a period of 1 year only from the date of approval by the city council, and unless a building permit is obtained, this approval shall be null and void at the expiration of said period.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Ventura, supported by Mr. Bonjero to approve. If the maker would not object, just a very slight change to item 6, the trash dumpster. And we've sometimes had verbiage in there to say that the gates should be closed when not in use. if the maker wouldn't mind adding that verbiage.
Not at all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and the supporter is okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right, great, thank you. Is there any other discussion on the motion to approve? There's no discussion, if the secretary can call the roll.
Mr. Ventura.
Aye.
Mr. Bonjero.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Droz.
Aye.
Caremagna votes aye. Chair Molsha.
Votes aye, motion passes. We'll go to city council with an approving
Thank
recommendation.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, good luck with your project.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Next, we'll go on to item number 2 on our agenda.
Petition 2024-07-08-05, submitted by Impact Ventures Corp. on behalf of Wendy's, requesting approval of all plans required by sections 3.11 and 13.13 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended to reconfigure the parking lot and drive-through facilities and remodel the interior and exterior of the restaurant at 34450 Plymouth Road, located on the northwest corner of Plymouth and Stark Roads in the southwest quarter of Section 28.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Uhazy?
This site is currently zoned C2, and the site is 1.32 acres with 175 feet of frontage on Plymouth Road and 327.52 feet on Stark Road. The existing restaurant is 1 story in height and 2,828 square feet in size. The restaurant currently has seating for 48. The proposed new building would be set back 85 feet from Plymouth Road and 15 feet from Riley, totaling 2,930 square feet. I'm sorry, 15 feet from Stark. The totaling 2,930 square feet, and the new restaurant would be roughly 30% smaller. Proposed renovations would reduce seating capacity to 29 individuals. Interior would be completely remodeled. The solarium and existing front landscaping would be removed and replaced by a concrete outdoor patio. The patio area would contain 3 tables with seating for 12. Also shown on the patio is a bike rack. Landscaping has been added to protect the seating area, and 2 pedestrian access points have also been added from both Stark and Plymouth Road. Revisions to the exterior elevation also show aluminum composite panels. The landscape plan shows a full-size deciduous tree, no ornamental trees, and approximately 28 shrubs along Plymouth Road. Along Stark Road, the landscape plan shows no full-size deciduous trees, 8 ornamental trees, including hornbeam, flowering crab, and approximately 59 shrubs, juniper and existing. There are 4 existing trees within the Plymouth Road right-of-way. Plans show the addition of PRDA district streetscape consisting of brick, piers, and fencing. The new dumpster enclosure would house 2 dumpsters, 6 feet high of brick, to match the building, or 8-inch split-face CMU. Enclosure gates would be solid composite material. And as I mentioned, the new exterior renovations would be aluminum composite panels, and I'll let the petitioner go through how they've changed if they changed any of the color schemes. That's all I have for staff report.
Okay, and you have correspondence?
All taxes and water payments are current with this property. Signed, Susan Nash. I have reviewed the address connected with the above noted petition. As there are no outstanding amounts receivable, general or water and sewer, I have no objections to the proposal. Signed, Connie Cupola. Pursuant to your request, the above referenced petition has been reviewed. 1, the parking lot shall be repaired or replaced as necessary. 2, the parking spaces shall be 10 by 20 foot double striped. The proposed signage shall conform with the sign ordinance, or a variance would be required from the Zoning Board of Appeals to maintain excess size or number of signs. The department has no further objections to this petition. Signed, Jerome Hanna, Director of Inspection. I reviewed the plans in connection with this petition. I have no objections to the proposal. Signed, Paul Walters, Sergeant of Traffic Bureau. The office has reviewed the site plan submitted in connection with a request to modify a commercial building on property located at the above referenced address. We have no objections to the proposal with the following stipulations. A fire access road shall be provided with not less than 20 feet of unobstructed width and have a minimum of 13 feet, 6 inches of vertical clearance in accordance to 18.2.3.4.1.1 and 18.2.3.4.1.2 of NFPA 1/2015. Currently, the plan states approximately 18 feet between a travel lane and parking spaces to the north and east of the building. The cited code distance is to allow appropriate fire truck access around the entire building without the potential of obstruction for firefighting suppression operations. A further detailed plan review will take place when the division receives an official plan set. And finally, in accordance with your request, the engineering division has reviewed the above referenced petition. We have no objections to the proposed project at this time. The subject parcel is assigned the address 34450 Plymouth Road. The legal description included with the submitted drawings appear to be correct and should be used should the project be approved. The existing parcel is currently served by public water main, sanitary sewer, and stormwater sewer. The submittal does not indicate any changes to the existing utility leads, so we do not believe there will be any additional impacts to the public utility with this proposal. Please be advised that the project will be required to conform to the latest version of the Wayne County Stormwater Ordinance. Stormwater pretreatment and/or detention may be required for any additional impervious areas added to the site. Also, should any work be required within the Plymouth Road right-of-way, the owner will need to obtain permits from the Michigan Department of Transportation. Signed, David Lear, Assistant City Engineer.
Okay. I was going to make you read those NFPA codes to us again, but I figured that was mean. All right. Is there any questions for our planning staff? I do have one question for you, though, Mr. Uhazy. In regards to the outdoor dining area, is there any requirement within our ordinance that be surrounded by any sort of a barrier?
As long as there's no alcohol service, it does not have to be surrounded.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you. If there's no other questions for our planning staff, I'll go to the petitioner who's in our audience. Good evening. Feel free to come forward to one of our podiums. Introduce yourself.
Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
My name is Rick Sefton. I'm the franchisee for Wendy's, and I'm looking forward to putting up this new Wendy's. It's called a Global Next Generation. It has all the new bells and whistles of a flagship Wendy's that apparently it'll be one of the first 3 that I'll be doing in Michigan. And I'm an operator of 6 Wendy's. I just took over 4 from Wendy's, and we run first-class operations, not like what you may have seen in the past around here. For example, in our service industry of restaurants, it's not unheard of to have 300% turnover. 100% is very good. I've always run under 100. When it comes to, like, some people think Chick-fil-A is the standard, I beat them in every number, always have. I've been doing this for 35 years, and when Wendy's wants people trained, they send them to my restaurants. And we do an outstanding job. And I look forward to taking this old store that's been neglected and doing the right thing, and I think it's something you'll be all proud to have in your community.
We appreciate that, Mr. Sefton. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about your upgrade to the building itself in terms of the design or materials or anything?
Well, this is Joe Kane. He's the architect. He's got all the information on the panels and doing the right things that we need to do.
So,
Okay, we appreciate that. Hello, Mr. Kane.
good evening. Joe Kane from Fieldstone Architecture. Jacob, I'm not sure if you've got the color elevations. I did bring a couple copies.
The only one I have is one that was presented at the last meeting, so I didn't know if you had updated ones.
Yeah.
So you can give those to Ms. Reese right next to you there, and she'll pass them on down.
So the right elevation entry is the revised elevation with the a different material shown from the study session, where we decreased the amount of the wood look siding and increased we added the gray panels on the back side.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to pass these out too. These are material samples. This is the wood.
This was the original.
That was the original, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's the before and after, basically, what we've seen.
Say that again, before?
That's what we originally got from them. And this is
Revised, okay.
It's the same thing, I believe.
yes, it is.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Thank you for having those. We'll keep looking at them as we discuss these here. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us in the meantime?
No, I don't think so. I'll just open up if there's any questions or.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Let's see if there's any questions from any of the commissioners. Does anyone have any questions for our petitioner? Mr. Ventura?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to pass these down so everybody can see them. Are these actual samples of the materials that will be on the
That is correct.
Wow, okay. Substantial panels,
Yes.
nothing like aluminum siding.
No, no.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for going to the effort to getting this.
Yeah, there was some discussion at our study meeting about these materials, and you weren't sure if you were going to be able to get them. And
We weren't sure if we were either.
you've pulled it off, so we appreciate that.
It was some work, but we did it.
Very good. Any other questions for our petitioner?
Mr. Chair,
Mr.
a
Jones?
couple ones. First, I want to thank you for the amount of progress you made on the plan over the span of a week. I think the improvements that you adopted with the changes to the site plan, both with access and improving kind of the frontage along Plymouth Road, are beneficial. I'll see the materials when they get down here, but it looked like you did make the changes to that, which I think, based on what we're seeing, I think this is kind of what we were hinting at last week. On the access, we had a discussion about the Stark Road pedestrian access point.
Yes.
And we talked about the elevation difference, and it is significant.
Yes.
And I guess, do you have an idea what that slope is going to be? Because it looks like it's not even going to be close to ADA compliant. And I'd almost be, at least from my perspective, in favor of just eliminating that if it's.
We could eliminate it,
It's not
but you
even
also
close.
have the access off of Plymouth Road, which would be accessible, yes.
Right.
So, even though, I mean, that is, a crosswalk or a pedestrian access point, but they could use the Plymouth Road.
Yeah, and that's, I think, relative to that access point, it's, if it's not going to be ADA, I would just assume, at least from my perspective, probably not to put it in. So do you know the relative slope of what that is going to be?
Again, I think it's at least 30 inches of drop, if not more.
Over 6-7 feet roughly?
Over about 8 to 9 feet.
Okay, so, yeah,
So it's more than ADA compliant.
right. And then, was there any consideration given to centering the main pedestrian access point more on the Plymouth Road frontage? If you were to eliminate the Stark one and just have that one?
There's an existing berm and the trees that are out on Plymouth Road that are out on the right of way.
Okay.
So those would have to be, and correct me, Matt, I don't know if that would be able to work or not with the existing conditions.
Yeah, I don't think it would work very well. It'd be a tough get through to getting.
Matt, can you do us a favor and just come to the microphone, because our TV audience probably can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Joe that trying to get that path to work on the straight, more shot down the center of Plymouth, from Plymouth, that's what you're talking about, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that we had the opportunity, once we moved those mobile parking spaces over to the side, we had to provide the striping for pedestrian as well to get to the building. So it just kind of became a great opportunity just to connect those two anyways. So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone at that opportunity.
Okay. If relative to I guess I do look at the plan and it looked like if you tried to line it up, it would get into that existing tree in the right of way. So I don't know if is that a deal killer? Could you, replace it and provide a different tree or?
I think as we're looking at the plan, are you talking about the tree that's in the right of way to the left there?
Just south of the
Yeah.
meets and bounds. Yep.
That's the tree in the right of way, we can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Mr. Sefton would like to remove that tree, or like to remove all the trees for visibility, but I think with it being in the right of way, I don't think we can eliminate it, can we?
You got it, let me ask you this, there's a nice big slope there. I mean, how do you go around that? I mean, if you want to make it ADA compliant, correct?
Yes.
How do you get rid of the slope? I mean, you want us to get rid of the slope?
I mean, I'm looking at it from a practicality
Well,
standpoint.
I'm trying to just figure out how to.
Where
do
are
it.
people going to walk? And if somebody's going to walk all the way to that point, they're probably just going to walk in the driveway.
Mr. Denhock, can you come over to the
How
mic?
would you recommend us doing that?
Mr. Denhock, can you come over to the mic? Again, just so our TV audience can hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got a slope there, so I don't know how you work around that unless you want us to remove that. And, okay, so where would you like to see that? I mean, I guess, we could do anything. I'm just trying to understand what your vision might be.
Basically, I think in line with the vestibule on the east side of the building, running a sidewalk straight, and you would have to take that one tree out, but it would, again, just relative to access, that's a more direct route, and it would require some regrading.
Okay, so if we took the tree out and regraded that, that would be okay?
That would be my, I guess, question and
I'm
suggestion.
happy to do it.
but,
I'm just,
I guess, I don't know if other commissioners have any opinion on it, but other than that, I really don't have any other comments on the plan.
I mean, can you just circle the arrow around the tree there for a second?
Right here.
So, okay. So you run a sidewalk basically somewhere around there, you change the grade and you remove a tree. You're kind of doing me a favor. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, and I think, there would be a gap in the decorative fencing, and then you could probably eliminate the sidewalk on the west side of the property. It's just more central. That's the only suggestion.
I know these guys could do anything. That's. Is there any electrical, sewer, plumbing, anything that we gotta worry about?
We would have to check.
Fair enough.
That's something, as this goes forward, we'll see how the approving resolution comes out, but if there's some changes that you can make that would accommodate that between now and when you go to city council, you can work on that during that time. I think would be appropriate. If there's any other suggestions that we can give you along the way today, we'll try to do that for you. All right. Anything else, Mr.
No
Jones?
further, thank you.
All right. Any other questions from any other commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Caremagno.
I do have a question. Your dumpster enclosure, what is the distance between the dumpsters and what would be the island behind the store? I noticed that, that's one question. I noticed to pick up the dumpsters, you'll be driving against traffic, against typical traffic on the property when you come to dump those, which is potentially a problem. So your traffic for your angle parking is coming out, yet your garbage truck will have to come in that same direction, that opposite direction to get to those containers. Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, that's the way it exists today.
Yeah, is there an opportunity to fix that and clock that dumpster enclosure 90 degrees to come in off of Stark Road?
We can do that.
Seems to make more sense. That way at least you're traveling with traffic, not against traffic, if you're coming during business hours.
Yeah, we can make that change.
And you actually might have more space to back out of there if you're backing east-west versus north-south.
Do you guys know if, just off the top of your head, if there's a setback with regards to that dumpster on the side property line?
The truck's probably 35 to 38 feet long. So,
I meant
for
the setback from the property line to where the dumpster would be, as far as the ordinance goes, off the top of your head, you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't believe so. It would be probably with inspection. We can discuss that
Okay.
After the meeting, but I don't think any changes. It's still right there against the lot line anyway, so I don't think it would change any. The number of feet from the lot line, I don't, just the number, how close the side is versus the corner.
All right, fair enough. Anything else, Mr. Caremagna?
No, that's fine, thank you.
All right, good suggestions. Any other comments from any of the commissioners? Anyone in our audience wishing to speak for or against? Don't see anyone else. One last chance for any other comments or questions from the commissioners. Anything else that our petitioner would like to add before we make our decision? I think we've covered everything then. If there's nothing else to discuss, a motion would be in order.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Bonjero.
I'd like to make an approving resolution that the request to redevelop the site, including reconfiguring the parking lot and drive-through facilities and remodel interior and exterior of the restaurant at 34450 Plymouth Road is hereby approved, subject to city council approval and the following conditions. 1, the architectural site plan identified as sheet number SP1.1 dated August 15th, 2024 as revised, prepared by Fieldstone. I keep losing this. Architecture and engineering is approved and shall be adhered to. Number 2, the parking lot shall be repaired, resealed, and restriped as necessary to the satisfaction of the inspection department. Parking spaces shall be appropriately sized and marked, including any barrier-free spaces that may be required by the state of Michigan. Number 3, landscape plan identifies sheet number LP1.1 dated August 15, 2024 as revised, prepared by Fieldstone Architecture and Engineering is approved and shall be adhered to. Number 4, underground sprinklers are to be provided for all landscaped and sodded areas, and all planted materials shall be installed to the satisfaction of the inspection department and, after that, permanently maintained in a healthy condition. Number 5, all disturbed lawn areas, including road rights-of-way, shall be sodded instead of hydroseeding. Number 6, the Plymouth Road Development Authority, PRDA, streetscape improvements, i.e. brick piers and fencing, shall be installed along Plymouth Road to the satisfaction of the planning director. Number 7, the exterior elevation plans identified as sheets A2.3 and A2.4, both dated August 15, 2024 as revised, prepared by Fieldstone Architecture and Engineering are approved and shall be adhered to. Number 8, all rooftop mechanical equipment shall be concealed from public view on all sides by screening compatible with other building exterior materials. Number 9, the 3 walls of the trash dumpster area shall be constructed out of building materials that shall complement that of the building. The enclosure gates shall be of solid panel steel construction or durable, long-lasting solid panel fiberglass. Do you want to put anything in there, Mr. Chair, for turning the dumpster enclosure, or?
You may as well if you're working on that section of the
Just
approving.
Add in that the positioning of the dumpster enclosure the gate shall face Stark Road. I don't know, how do you want to word that? Is that good enough?
Yeah, east. Yeah.
East, face east. Is that good? Okay. Number 10, all light fixtures shall not exceed 20 feet in height and shall be shielded to minimize glare, trespassing on adjacent properties and roadways. Number 11, only conforming signage is approved with this petition, and any additional signage shall be separately submitted for review and approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Number 12, no unshielded LED light band or neon shall be permitted on the site, including the building or around the windows. Number 13, unless approved by the proper local authority, any type of exterior advertising such as promotional flags, streamers, or sponsor vehicles designed to attract the attention of passing motorists shall be prohibited. Number 14, that the plans referenced in this approving resolution shall be submitted to the inspection department at the time of application for the certificate of occupancy. And finally, number 15, pursuant to section 13.0 .13 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended. This approval is valid for a period of 1 year only from the date of approval by the city council, and unless a building permit is obtained, this approval shall be null and void at the expiration of said period.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Bonjero, supported by Mr. Long. Mr. Uhazy, is there any need for us to add any formal language in regards to the moving of the sidewalk, or do you just want to?
I think it should be similar to the PRDA, at discretion of the planning director, I think would be appropriate.
So have them work with the planning staff to adjust the
Pedestrian, yeah.
pedestrian walkway?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the maker okay with that?
Totally fine.
And the supporter is good with that? You're the supporter? Mr.
No, I'm a supporter. I'm good with it. I guess it seems like there's some uncertainty with it being in the right of way of whether or not this is even possible. So,
Right.
To the extent possible, or capture the language properly, so that we're not committing to them to something that they cannot do.
Exactly. We're giving some discretion to the petitioner and the planning department to work together on that. So, and that hopefully will take care of Mr. Drose's comments there. If there's nothing else, is there any discussion on the motion to approve? If not, this is a motion to approve by Mr. Bonjero, supported by Long. If the secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Bonjero.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Droz.
Aye.
Mr. Ventura.
Aye.
Caremagno votes aye. Chairman Wilshaw.
Votes aye. Motion passes. Goes on to City Council with an approving recommendation. We wish you luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
Sure, guys.
Wonderful to work with. Thank you. All right. That takes us to the end of the miscellaneous section of our agenda. We have one more item on our agenda, Mr. Secretary.
That's the approval of the minutes of the 1,217th public hearing and regular meeting held by the Planning Commission on July 30th, 2024.
And all members were present with the exception of Mr. Bonjero and Mr. Droz. Is there any objection to showing 4 to approve those minutes?
Do we have to move it first?
Yes, that would be nice if
Okay,
someone
I'll move it.
I'll support it.
Thank you, Mr. Long and Mr. Ventura. Now, let's see if there's any objection to showing 4 on that.
No objection.
I see no objections. All right, so we'll show 4 on that. That takes us to the end of our agenda. Is there any other business to come before the commission? If not, the keen-eyed viewers of our meetings will have noticed that there's a new member on the commission. Mr. Patrick Droz has joined us. We welcome you. We're glad to have you as part of the team. You have a wonderful background in both engineering and city planning, those types of things. So we look forward to working with you and welcome you to the commission.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and look forward to bringing a lot of positive developments forward and helping set that vision for the future.
Well, you've made a great impact on this meeting already so far, so thank you. If there's no other business to come before us, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We have Long and they're
Support.
gonna fight over it. All right, we'll go with,
Fighting it out.
we're Long and Bonjero on that. And again, if there's no objections, I think I can safely show 6 to adjourn our meeting. The meeting will be adjourned tonight at 7:49 p.m. I do want to thank Livonia Television staff for bringing this meeting to the community and wish a good night to Livonia.